Yep, we've got Twerking Rats and Kids of Karendow. Well, hello there, the Gary.
Hey, Blair, what's going on?
How's it going?
Oh, it's great.
Would you mind
So
telling us why we call you the Gary?
there's no origin story to that really. I think there was an old handle that I was using back in the day, called the cheat.
Hmm.
That was kind of like my quote unquote gamer tag. So I just started calling myself the Gary.
All right.
And I
Well,
was doing this at work and it just kind of stuck. So
gotcha.
um,
So you're called the Gary at work?
a lot of people call me the Gary at work. I also get a lot of shit for not having watched Final Space, even though that is a feature of that show.
Hmm.
So I am going through that show now, and it's pretty good. So
I have not watched that show either.
yeah, basically the main character, Gary Goodspeed, gets called the Gary in that show.
All right. So it could just be based off that show then.
No, in a sense, yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's some kind of origin story then.
Sure.
Yeah, we're a boring intro here. All right, so what are we talking about this podcast?
We're talking about MagFest 2023
And how
and our
awesome was it?
experience. Oh, it's a wild time. It always is a wild time. There was like so much energy this year compared to last year. I mean, it's back in full swing. Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
you really feel it. Like I guess when you're trying to go for lunch and like it's just packed in there, and you can see the staff just kind of frantically trying to keep up with like the stampede of people that want to eat.
Yeah, it's insane. And that is actually probably one of the worst parts about MagFest is going to any kind of restaurant. It's just lined up forever and everything's slow, but it is what it is. It's part of the experience, but every year we go, we love it, and we get through it. And it's awesome.
Yeah, and
So
like even before going, there's usually like that stressful time trying to get hotels. I think we got lucky in a sense that
oh, we totally got lucky this year.
yeah, yeah, we got lucky in the sense that because we got into the indie hall, we were able to get rooms inside the convention.
Yeah. So I got the lottery. I actually, when they opened the bookings, I actually got randomly assigned to a position in the queue where I could actually get a room at the Gaylord. And then when we also got into the indie hall, we got an extra room. So that's how we both got our own rooms. We're being room hogs because I know so many people that go to MagFest are like 3, 4, 5 people to a room, and I'm like, oh hell no, I'm not that young anymore. I'm not doing that shit.
I was actually lucky enough to not get a room near the atrium this year, so like noise was much better
Yeah.
this year, and I was actually able to sleep.
Can you believe they actually they offered you to upgrade to the atrium? It's like you give us 75 extra bucks so you can have sleepless nights for the next 4 days.
Exactly. I was like, yes, no, no, thank you. Yeah.
They think it's a good thing. Maybe if it wasn't MagFest, it actually would be all right. But because it
Yeah,
is MagFest, that's more of a downgrade.
exactly.
All right. Well, let's get to it, Gary.
I know this was supposed to be an intro, and then we kind of failed at that too by just talking about MagFest a little bit more. But basically, this episode, we are going to be talking about MagFest and our experience showing our game Kids in Karendow at this convention.
All right, let's get to it.
Okay.
So how was MagFest, Gary?
Hey, Blair. MagFest was generally a good experience. I guess it's like that every year. Um, us showing our game at the indie hall this year was pretty cool. Usually, the last kind of few times we've done this, I've really kind of focused a lot on the volume of people, in terms of how many times people have been coming over to our booth to play the game. This year, I kind of really didn't think about that too much, but rather focused on the kind of the length of play and
The quality of the play.
quality of the play, and see how long they've been playing and how much they're enjoying it. And kind of, there's a few kind of key players that really stuck out to me. One of them being actually the very first person that sat down and played a game. Played it all the way until the second boss, which was pretty surprising. Right. And he was laughing the whole way. It was awesome to see. I also remember actually the last person that played the game. I think it was the kid.
He played on the last day.
He probably would have played the game for like a whole 2 hours if his dad let him. But yeah, I think in general, I'm very happy that we took up the swearing, because now I no longer have to feel embarrassed about like sitting there while there's like, F-bombs, S-bombs, and all that sort of.
Let this be the formal announcement. The swearing has been removed from Kids of Karendow. We are now using our own swearing language, like some science fiction shows have done in the past, and I guess some fantasy novels do occasionally as well, or some different types of novels.
Yeah, I was actually originally kind of against that in a sense that, like, I like the swearing as it is, because it kind of makes the game a little raw and reflects maybe sometimes kind of the way that I would speak to. But when you're, I guess, kind of when you want the game to be played by kids, it kind of makes sense in that regard, that you kind of want a wider audience. You want this game to be kind of more digestible to a larger crowd, and I think making a change like that does do that.
Yeah, it's certainly, when we show the game at expos, I don't get embarrassed when kids play anymore. Now,
I know. I remember at Too Many Games, that was actually kind of the first time that, like, I remember kids coming to play.
Yeah, and you kept walking away.
I was like, oh, I'll get up and walk away and just kind of make a loop around the hall here while the.
It's left it for me.
Oh, those are good times.
So it's funny that you mentioned the kid that played it on the last day, and also taking out the swear words, because the first line in Elmo's scenario is, "What the hell is that?" And it used to be, "What the hell is that?" And the kid came in and said, "You spelled that wrong, but I know why you did it. It's so kids will play. You want kids to play this game." Yeah, and I just started cracking up. He was a cute kid. I mean, he had a personality to him.
Yeah, so he got it, right? And I think he was able to pick up on that with some of the other swear words. So it still kind of accomplishes the same thing, like knowing that Elmo and Telly are kind of potty mouths in that regard, but without actually kind of directly swearing in the game, I think has kind of added to the, I don't know, how do you say it?
Perhaps accessibility, maybe, with audience.
Yeah, I guess.
Or also, it also adds a lot of personality to the game as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say.
Yeah, it's added more to the world of Karendow, because now it's like, oh, their swear words aren't the same swear words we use. They've got different ones.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, so, the audience can still kind of get the type of people that Elmo and Telly are without, us having to, remove swearing completely. It's like still in there, it's just not in the same form as it was before.
Exactly. And yeah, I currently there's not a setting to switch swearing back on. And I don't think that I actually want to. I mean, we can talk about this more, but I kind of want to leave it that the default is just the made up swears.
Yeah, I'm fine with keeping it the way it is right now, just because of how well it worked.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't actually take anything away from the game.
Yeah. And actually, it let a lot of the players kind of focus more on the game too.
Yeah.
Right. So
you're not shocking them by using bad language.
Yeah. But yeah, generally the people that sat down and, let's say, they liked RPGs, they came and played it, and they usually got fairly far. Yeah. Not everyone beat the squid, but a good number of people did, and it's always awesome to see when they play it for that long, because that's usually like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
So what I really learned from MagFest is if you are an RPG fan, you will like Kids of Karendow. That is kind of my takeaway from MagFest.
Yeah.
But I also would like to see us try some harder expos before we launch this game. Like I think maybe in 2024 we take it to PAX, because then we'll put ourselves to the ringer there, both from an endurance standpoint and just the kind of game players that come to that. It's very, very different from MagFest. Like when we took Burgle's Bounty there back in, I want to say that was maybe 2017. I don't really remember, but that sounds about right.
It probably was around that time, yeah.
Yeah,
I wasn't there, but you told me your experience was like you basically had to stand all day.
yeah, 8 hours each day. There's no chairs, and we're playcrafting. And the one thing I learned is that there were thousands upon thousands of people there. That hall was crowded. It was at PAX East, the one in Boston, and it was just it was intense, and nobody really wanted to play a mobile game there. So Burgle's Bounty did not get a lot of attention. And I mean, there's a couple bits of feedback that ended up incorporating the game as a result of that, though. People got really annoyed at the fact that Burgle didn't start moving right away until after the spotlight came down on him. And that was the one change that I made. So after that, he would start moving right away, and the spotlight would just still come down on top of him while he's already moving. That was the only thing I took away from PAX that I implemented. And that was many years ago now. So,
but yeah, since I haven't been to PAX, but I guess it's the format that like everyone has a booth in the hall, and it's like everyone's standing up. There's no
no, you can have
or...
chairs. Yeah, you have chairs, but because with playcrafting, chairs were limited. We had a bigger size booth. Had I known that, I would have probably maybe bought a stool earlier on, like what we did for too many games. But
oh yeah, that was like part of one of the smartest things I did last year. Was to go to Target and grab those 2 stools.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it worked out for us this year too, because we brought them with us.
Yeah.
Once again,
everyone
we were
provided down. Yeah.
We were provided 2 chairs. Yeah.
For once, we were actually comfortable while we were doing the show.
Yeah. They're like really the really only kind of like hiccup was like, yeah, we were once again having issues with the controller on that older laptop. So
yeah,
that was a little bit annoying.
That laptop, we're not using it again. So
yeah, but the game played very well on that new one that we bought.
Yeah, the game played well on both actually. Just we only had issues with the gamepad.
Yeah. Actually, that's not true. In the new laptop, we still periodically got that pop up saying to register your laptop kind of thing.
Oh yeah. We just have to make it so it never shows that again.
Yeah.
But that doesn't bother me too much. I mean, it is a little distracting for the player, but whatever.
Yeah.
Could have been worse. Though I want to circle back to that kid again, because there's one really funny thing that he said when he ran to the giant rats in Poogle. He kept saying that these rats were twerking, and that was absolutely hilarious. And that was never my intent to have those rats look like they're twerking, but I was playing it again today, and those rats are kind of twerking. So we are going to introduce a new enemy in the game called the twerking rat, and at some point you will encounter it, and I think we're going to make the rat pink.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, after he said that, I kind of unsee it now.
Yep, we've got twerking rats and Kids of Karendow.
We will be out.
All right. So what did you think of the rest of the Gumbo stuff there?
Let's see. I didn't get a chance to play all of it. I did get a chance to play Skate Story, Unwound. What else? Just slipped my mind here.
Yeah, I played. I didn't play Unwound actually. I didn't get a chance, but Skate Story I finally played, and that build. So Skate Story is, I suspect maybe some of the people who are listening have heard of it because it is actually getting to be quite popular. It's got a pretty big following. It's made by Sam Ang. He's at a Gumbo here. He's a friend of ours. His game was looking awesome. It's a skateboarding game where you play as a demon made of glass and pain, and aesthetically it looks incredible. Sam has done some like just amazing stuff with the visuals, and It has
actually
good
plays
skateboarding
really well
physics.
too.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually it's a legit skateboarding game. So it's got this dark aesthetic, but you can skateboard in it. It's really unique. So I would encourage anyone listening to go check out that game. It's not out yet, but there's plenty of videos and stuff on social media. You can get hyped about it. And Sam is just an incredibly creative and smart guy. So definitely support him.
Yeah, I really like the kind of the atmospheric feel that he created for the game. But you know, the other thing that kind of impressed me is just the controls, right? Like I am not a skateboarder myself, so I was just kind of being really basic when I was playing it. But I was seeing other players; they were just doing all sorts of like tricks and flips and stuff. They were like, I don't know, like sliding along the edge, like you know how like let's say if you fall off the edge, then you basically die. And this guy was just being pretty insane in terms of like where he was taking like all these tricks. I thought that was kind of pretty that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to watch it that much, but there's a lot of good players on that, and yeah. Um, so I didn't play
Yeah.
Unwound, but I'll
Unwound
get
was pretty interesting. Like you're basically like a big ball of yarn and you're going through
yeah.
this kind of like to me it seems like kind of like a dreamlike world and you're collecting items to like put on your big ball of yarn. So found like googly
Yeah,
eyes and like my first playthrough I found some pretty basic stuff, but like as I was walking by, like several times I'd take a peek just to see like what other people found, right? Like someone found like this like weird looking arm or something. It was kind of interesting.
yeah, it is pretty. It's a little goofy, but it's really cool. Like, because you make the ball of yarn basically look goofy, but it's really cool. Yeah. So,
Yeah. So if
um,
you're one of those kind of gamers that like exploring kind of like wacky worlds and finding stuff, that'll probably end up being a pretty awesome game to play for that.
yeah. So we'll give Valentina is the creator of that. We've had her on the podcast before. She just launched her Steam page. So go check this game out, add it to your wish list. I think she's planning a 30-minute demo. I don't know exactly, so I don't want to say too much about that, but definitely go check it out. It's come along really, really well. It looks really great, and it's kind of like this RPG platform puzzle mini game mixture thing. So check it out. I only played one other game there from Gumbo, and I don't remember the title of it. I believe it was Carrie. I don't want to get his name wrong. Is it Mike?
Uh, do you know
Okay.
what game this was?
So it was a multiplayer kind of like versus game where one player can play as this demon, and then the other player plays as all these people trying to kill the demon. And it's
Oh,
kind
is this Scarlet City of Devils?
no, that's a different game.
Okay.
That game was on a Gumbo game. That's a Dev Dad's game or his son's.
Oh, so they're actually not a part of Gumbo.
No, they don't even live in New York.
Oh, okay.
I think they're outside of Philly, if I remember.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. So if you're speaking that about another game that has a devil in it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, the developer's here right now because I'm at Gumbo. Um, so what I will do is I will go get that information and put it in the description so everyone can go check out that game as well because we did a terrible job talking about that game.
Yeah.
So I apologize. Now, did you play any other games from Gumbo there? What about Gus's little arcade game thing
Oh,
originally?
I did get a chance to play that one this year. Like I played it last year. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I walked
One of
by it
those
several
games.
times, but it's
Yeah,
always occupied.
yeah, it's one of those games where I really have to kind of sit down and play it for longer because it warrants that. So every time that I was kind of in that area, I ended up like wanting to play crab volleyball. So
Yeah, that was a
that,
cute game too.
that's a really cool game. You're like crab volleyball is a game where you're I guess it's like 2-on-2, you're crabs, and you can jump and rotate forward to back to kind of control the ball like Pong. So
Yeah, basically like a cooler, more modern version of Pong. It's fun. And to our disappointment, Mortal Kombat 2 was broken in the arcade.
Yeah,
Carrie
I
and I did
know.
not get our Mortal Kombat kick this year. We played Mortal Kombat 4, but that game just isn't the same.
Yeah, I know. It just I don't know, it just didn't seem as fun to me as kind of some of those other ones. I haven't played any of the other modern Mortal Kombats, but yeah. But I really would have preferred that there either Mortal Kombat 1, 2, or 3 was there, because we would definitely play those.
Yeah, they didn't have any of them there
Yeah.
except for 2, which was broken.
Did we play any Street Fighters?
Yeah, we played Street Fighter 2.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, not a bunch, but you kept kicking my ass, so I got
All right.
frustrated.
I didn't even remember that, but it's pretty
Yeah, we
fun.
played it maybe we didn't play it a lot.
Yeah.
But a couple times.
Actually, yeah, we played Marvel vs. Capcom 2, right?
Yeah, we did. And you
Yeah.
also kicked my ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like losing all the time. I can at least win at Mortal Kombat every now and then.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, all was still fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. MagFest is always fun. And this was your 4th year, right?
Okay, so this is yeah, I guess this would be my fourth time. My fourth MagFest, yeah.
This was my 6th time, not counting the COVID year. So not counting 2021 when they didn't do it.
Yeah, and this year back at the Gaylord International, they now have that kind of like bar on the
The
bottom
sports.
floor in the atrium. The
Oh,
sports
yeah.
bar, and they also have that like kind of like that pizza cafe place. That was pretty cool. That those are both open now because
Yeah, everything's reopened at Gaylord because last year it was kind of rough. There was nothing in the hotel really.
yeah, nothing to eat.
Yeah, they
So
seem
it
to
was pretty cool.
they're-
They have like on-site, I guess, accommodations in that regard.
Yeah, I actually so Yi suggested doing room service for breakfast. So I started doing that after I had to wait like an hour at Starbucks to get my stuff. It's like I'm not doing this again. Because the one thing about National Harbor or the area around the Gaylord at MagFest is there's thousands of people there, and the restaurants and stuff just don't have the capacity to serve all of that. So it can kind of be a bit of a nightmare when you want to go eat.
Yeah, but at least we got our crab cakes.
We did.
Yeah.
I actually had them twice.
Yeah,
Don't
I
do
actually
them
only had it. I only had it once this time, but it was still good.
Yeah, I went back for lunch
Yeah.
one day. Definitely worth it. All right. So what did you think of the other RPGs at MagFest? Because this year, I think there's more RPGs this year than I've ever seen at MagFest before, probably ever.
Yeah, you're right. I think like when I went to my first MagFest, there was maybe only like one or two other RPGs, especially that kind of like that top-down Final Fantasy RPG style, right?
Yep.
This one had a few of them, I remember. So the one that kind of sticks out in my mind is My Familiar, where you play as a familiar that got stuck in a world that he originally thinks is Galveston, but it isn't. Or is it Galveston? What was it?
I think it's Galveston,
Galveston,
Texas.
yeah. So that one's pretty fun. It's got really nice animations.
Yeah. There was an artist heavily involved in that, or they had a huge budget for much bigger than we have for Karendow to do that. It looked really nice.
Yeah, and it played really well. It seemed like there was a really cool story developing too. So I really like that. I like the interface as well.
Yeah, very polished.
Yeah. The other game I played was kind of like a Secret Mana like game. Where
Do you
you
remember
start
the
off,
name of that one?
it was like Shrine's Legacy or something.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
So you start off with like this really thin sword, and it's kind of like a action / puzzle type game, where I got as far as beating some like blob with my fire spell, and then
That blob
you got
killed me.
you got an upgrade to your sword and it became a little thicker. So yeah, so that was kind of cool.
Getting a thicker sword by killing some slimes, just like real life.
Right. I don't know what you're trying to say with that.
I don't know what I'm trying to say either.
Yeah.
I'm
So
just saying
we'll move on from that.
There are other RPGs there though too. There was
Yeah.
Quartet. You didn't get a chance to play that one.
No,
I
that
don't
one
think.
was busy.
Yeah, so that one's made by the same people who made Shadows of Adam, which we've talked about on the podcast, I think, before. Shadows of Adam, I think, appeared at MagFest 2 years in a row, and it's launched. It's on Steam and it's on Switch, and it's graphic style. Would you compare that to Lufia? Like
I would definitely compare it to Lufia. I didn't get a chance to play it, but I did walk by it several times, and I, watched people play it. So it's a good
yeah,
looking game.
it is a good looking game. Looks like Luffy. They got the aesthetic and the style right. Turn-based combat. It actually, basically, the combat system is identical to Shadows of Adam. I think the one difference maybe is that your party is large enough in this version of the game, or in this game, where you can swap them out um, instantaneously in combat. So you're not stuck with just the 4 people. That is typical of many JRPGs, including our own.
Is that a consideration for us, actually?
Yeah, we'll have, once you have a party of greater than 4, you'll be able to swap them out quickly in combat.
Okay. Yeah, other than that, what other RPGs were there? Those are the ones that I guess stick out immediately for me. Just
I think
because
there might have been 2 or 3 more.
Yeah.
There was a RPG Maker one, or at least it looked like it was RPG Maker. I think that one was called okay, I will look it up and put it in the comments, or the description rather. Something oh crap, I can't even remember it. It's like a tip of the tongue, but whatever. There's this other one that was like Pokemon though, that had to do with ponies. Basically, I didn't play it, but it looked very much where you went around, and I think you tried to capture or catch ponies, and you'd use them in combat like Pokemon.
Oh, I
It looks
remember.
really pretty.
I remember seeing the poster for that game. I didn't take a close look to see what that was. Yeah, usually like MagFest is pretty intense. Like there's a lot of people. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, it was definitely back to its normal intensity this year, because
Yeah.
last year it was actually kind of nice that it wasn't as busy,
Yeah.
because you actually could go and do stuff. But this year it was just back to normal, which is, good thing, because you want the expo to like be successful, but kind of bad because it's a lot harder to do everything you want to do.
Yeah, there's like a lot of things to do at MagFest a lot of the time. And I mean, you and I, we had our booth up this year, so like it's pretty tough just to go and like see everything, because there's a lot of different things going on. There's a land room, there's like a board game room, there's almost anything for any gamer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's awesome. And oh yeah, we saw the 8-bit big band play.
Yeah, and how long did you line up to get into the hall?
Oh geez, that was insane. Like yeah, that was just absolutely insane. Like that is the busiest show I've ever been to at MagFest before. 8-bit big band is a Grammy award winning band. So that, I'm sure, definitely helps with its popularity. But yeah, it was just insane. That line was so long. But we got in and they were playing Can You Feel the Sunshine from Sonic R. And I immediately just got super excited. Like I fanboyed out, because I actually saw, I loved Sonic R when I was on the Sega Saturn when it first came out back in like the mid 90s. It was probably the only 3D Sonic outing we got on the Dreamcast. Or sorry, not the Dreamcast, the Sega Saturn. But yeah, and I will shamefully and also proudly admit, if those aren't contradictions, that I have listened to a lot of the Sonic R music on repeat several times throughout my life. Still to this day, even.
Hey, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yep, the game's like 28 years old now. Holy crap.
Yeah, so I actually got into the hall a little bit later than you did. I'm not sure by how much. I don't know how many songs they got.
You just missed that one.
Okay.
You got in, yeah.
But yeah, I remember like one of the songs they played was Hydro City, also from Sonic. How did that one make you feel?
I mean, didn't have the same feeling, but I mean, it's a good song. I wish they would like, I know they're kind of a more poppy jazz band or jazzy band kind of thing. So there's a lot of music I wish they would play that they didn't. Like you'd have probably pulled the nostalgia chords on me if you played like Green Hill Zone or like one of the boss songs from Sonic, or even like played more from Final Fantasy or Phantasy Star. That would have definitely got my nostalgia strings pulled a little bit more.
Yeah. It's really all in all a very, very good show. A lot
yeah.
of people in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's packed. So I want to actually go back to the RPGs, and
Okay.
I want okay, and we don't want to be mean here or get ourselves into trouble or anything like that. But how do we think we all compared to the
Okay.
other RPGs in the hall?
So the main thing that I want to say about Kids of Karendow is that I find that our game aesthetically looks really, really unique compared to these other ones.
And that feedback has come from numerous players as well.
Yeah.
Probably why we've been called ugly a few times even.
I wouldn't say necessarily because our game looks ugly, but it does look very different. The other games seem to have a much softer aesthetic, and kind of.
Sorry, go ahead. I've got my thoughts on that, but go ahead.
Okay. The other games seem to, they look a lot like a predecessor.
Yeah,
In a sense that, like the Shrines Legacy game, kind of had a Secret Mana feel to it.
Yeah, you walk by every
Quartet,
game there.
yeah, Quartet kind of looks like Lufia, where the Quartet game kind of looks like Lufia, and then here's Kids of Karendow. I can't compare it to anything.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anything else out there. It's unique. And I think that's a good thing. And some of the feedback we got was that it does look unique. And a lot of people said that's a good thing. Now we had detractors. I mean, we had the original MagFest judges say that this game doesn't look great. And we've had other people make comments that say that Karendow doesn't have marketable artwork. And I think that comes from a place of, well, it doesn't look like something that people can immediately relate to. And that could be a fair criticism, but I don't know if it's good or bad. Like Karendow may become its own thing and people may love it, or people will look at Karendow, it's like, oh, it doesn't remind me of other games that I've played that are like this, so I'm gonna pass. But I think it's going to come down to the marketing. As we've learned with Chained Echoes, that game was marketed incredibly well as being like Chrono Trigger. And anyone who hears a game like Chrono Trigger, which is definitely one of the best 16-bit JRPGs probably ever made, is going to jump on that. So riding the coattails of Chrono Trigger, I think, worked really well for Chained Echoes. Now, is Chained Echoes anything like Chrono Trigger? No, not really. In fact, the similarities it has with Chrono Trigger ends with the fact that you just fight the enemies just right there on the overworld. You don't go in another battle scene for them.
What about the aesthetic of the game?
It doesn't aesthetically remind me of Chrono Trigger. Does it remind you of it?
Maybe in some sense.
Okay, I guess it didn't remind me as much of it.
It does look, quite modern as far as, let's say, like pixel art goes. So
yeah.
So even if it doesn't, maybe like in that case, it's probably a good thing.
Yeah. I'm still working my way through Chained Echoes. It's an average experience. If I'm really kind of critical and honest here. I don't like that you actually can't grind and level up your characters. You do level up your skills, and when you do that, sometimes you actually get more stats. So it's kind of like leveling up, but it's not in a traditional sense. And I don't know, I didn't really like that, and I feel like the combat is just doesn't. I guess I don't really describe it. It doesn't do it for me. I feel like it's a little boring. I think that's thing, and the story is not as engaging as I would like it to be. it has too many characters. It was a little too ambitious for the scope of the game. Adds too many characters and doesn't have the ability to develop them enough. Okay, so I'm being kind of critical of this game. But I mean, I still think you should check it out. Like, not just you, Gary, but anyone who's listening. It is, in my opinion, kind of an average experience, though.
Yeah, at some point, if I have time, I'll check it out. Does
So
look like a really cool game, though. So
it does. It does
Yeah.
look good. But I don't know, and I don't know at this point if I'm being biased either. Like, I have to admit that I might be so into Karendow now that I can't even. I used to be able to really. I hope I'm not. I hope I'm not being biased, and I hope I can still enjoy other people's games.
Well, yeah, you seem like you do. I mean, like when you're at MagFest, how many times are you like, "Hey, I want to go and check out this game now,"
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah, Quartet played really well. Turn-based combat. The graphics were very nice. I think for the aesthetic that they're going for, they achieved it, maybe arguably more than Chained Echoes did. And they did the AP system that they used in Shadows of Adam, which basically AP is magic points and they regenerate after each turn.
this is a very informal podcast, Blair.
Yeah.
And I will make a comment that I actually really like this format a lot better than what we did in quote unquote season 1.
Yeah. No interviews, or very few interviews now.
Yeah. That doesn't mean we'll have special guests here and there. I don't know if we have anything planned for this year, but
we do have someone planned for next couple months here. We asked Brian Chong to join, who is one of the organizers for Game Devs of Color. So
interesting. Okay.
I have to circle back with him and confirm the timeline, because he wants to do it after they've formally announced the dates.
So
they have
Game
an
Devs
expo in New York.
So Game Devs of Color, how do you fit in there, Blair?
I don't. I think you have to have majority people of color, including like and Asian people, work on your game to be allowed to show at Game Devs of Color. So we're not allowed to. Too many white people.
Okay, so I guess how would you do you consider, let's say, someone from Spain a person of color?
Oh, are we gonna look at Sondolo here?
Yeah.
See if, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the rules are, Gary. I don't want to get myself in trouble here.
I know. I'm just kind of being a dick here.
Going back to MagFest and the RPGs, how do you think we stack up?
I think we stack up well. Like there was a lot of people that played the game. They loved it.
Yeah, I know. It felt really good. It was very validating.
Yeah.
This is we have the best version of the game out there now, and still so much better stuff coming down too. Like, this game was the combat system is awesome.
Yeah. Oh crap! I lost my thought. I was gonna say something. Yeah, this is the best build that we've done for any showing that we've done so far. Right? It played really well. It only crashed on the older laptop. Like the newer laptop just played the game very, very well. So that was encouraging. Yeah, I just found there was a lot less bugs just in general this time. Like the user experience was generally really, really good.
Yeah. Nobody played the drinking game, but nobody knew to go look for it either.
Actually, where can you play the drinking game? In Pugo.
After you kill the second boss, you can go back and talk to the bartender, and that unlocks the drinking game.
Oh, I see.
So when you first go to Pugal, and if you talk to the bartender before you go to the Promistian Temple, he'll tell you, come back later and we can play a drinking game.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, usually, I guess there's not a lot of people that actually got that far. There was that one player, I guess the one I mentioned earlier, where it was the very first sit down. He made it all the way past the rift boss, but immediately after that he went to the caves. So because I guess that's where the story brought him. But there are elements where you can walk around in this game and talk to people that may say different things depending on which point of the story it is. So
Oh yeah. I thought the Chained Echoes has a lot of side quests, and it certainly does. And then I started thinking, well, maybe our game isn't gonna have enough. But then I started thinking more today. It's actually we're gonna have a crap ton of stuff for players to do.
yeah,
Part of the mainline story.
I hope so. I hope players are going to be willing to walk around the world and explore.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be
Like,
up to the player.
yeah, it's the way I played RPGs back in the day, where I
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily follow what the story wants. I'd go around and see if there's any secrets.
Yeah,
So
you were 100%er, like the person who wanted to do everything in the game.
yeah,
Yeah, so I think Karendow is going to be about 20 hours long. I think with the mainline story, if you just do the required stuff. And if you do the extras, it'll probably be significantly longer.
okay.
So
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Like I think like if the player wanted to explore kind of the world that you know we'll build into the game that there's rewards for that, whether it be like items or lore.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
we'll shoot for a good combination of both of those things.
yeah, I've decided that I'll go back and I'll create some text for the Promistian Bible or whatever I called it. I gave it a
Oh
different
yeah,
name.
yeah. So when I was playing through the game, Blair was beside me, and I was in the Promethean temple, and I was going up to the those like I guess quote unquote like those Bible holders with the quote unquote Bibles on them, and I was trying to push the action button to see if anything would happen. Nothing was happening, so I'm like, Blair, this seems like I should be able to
He
like
was giving me a
read
dirty
this.
look, saying, "I want to read it. I want to read it."
Exactly, yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
The other thing I want in the game is that kid in Google. I want to be able to push him off the cliff.
Yeah, maybe that will be at the very bottom of the backlog of things to do.
Okay.
But I guess if you wanna if you want to murder a child in the game, Gary.
No, you're just helping him go swimming. He doesn't die. You just push him and you just push him off the cliff. And I think I think that should be a secret where there's only a certain portion of the map where you can do that.
Well, usually when you can actually do that stuff in a game, it's because there's a bug, and that people who have enough patience and time will figure out how to exploit the bug so they can do weird stuff. Usually that's it's not there by intent by the developers.
I know, but this one I'm saying that we'll want to purposely do it. The kid will say something when he falls off.
All right. Bottom of the list in the backlog, though. It may or may not get done one day.
It'll get done if I give you $100.
So, it's not trying to bribe me to do stuff for the game.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I like to do fun stuff. I'll even pay for it.
Yeah, I think some people probably have fun doing that too. Because actually, one of the fun things to do in the game is push the NPCs around.
Yeah. Are we actually going to use that as a mechanic?
There's going to be certain areas of the game where you do push stuff around.
Oh, okay.
Like push them on buttons and stuff, but it's probably not going to be NPCs.
Oh, okay. So, I guess is there a particular dungeon in mind where you're actually going to do this, where there's going to be like, let's say, like a puzzle element?
I think it'll be in Eva's storyline. We'll do more of that because the first act of Elmo's story is basically already planned out. Some of the dungeons, a lot of the dungeons in Eva's haven't been fully planned out yet, so there'll be options to do special mechanics for those ones.
Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right. So, any other games that stand out to you that was in the indie hall, just in general?
Well, my familiar. If I'm going to rank games and be kind of a jerk like that, I would say now I do think of the RPGs. Our game came out close to being on top, with the exception of my familiar. That one certainly gives us a run for the money. It's very aesthetically pleasing. I don't know what it's inspired by, but if I had to guess, it would be Earthbound. but yeah, it played well. It had beautiful graphics. The story was cute, kind of funny. And yeah, it just seemed like it was going to be going in a neat direction.
Yeah. Same here as well. That's a game that I look forward to playing more as well when it's out. I have no idea when it's going to be released. I think I forgot to ask the developers, but
They're working on a demo right now, so you can probably pull that off Steam. He did mention that to me. He wanted to do another round of polish, and I was like, "Oh, it's already looking pretty polished." But maybe there's stuff that the developers always see with the stuff that the players don't. So,
you know what game was cool that I got to play at the Indigo was Iron Meat. That Contra, the
that was
Contra
so
like game.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really good.
Yeah.
So Iron Meat, go check that one out. Everyone who's listening, that game is freaking awesome. I think there's a demo. Yeah, there's a demo on Steam, and it is coming out for all platforms too eventually. I think he wants to get it done this year, is what he told me.
Yeah, it's fairly hard too.
Yeah, it's Contra.
Yeah.
Through and through.
There's a lot of stuff coming at you. So, but yeah, reminds me of Contra, and I had a lot of fun playing Contra back in the day.
Yeah, it was a good game. Really hard though. I don't think I have the patience for it today though. That's a problem. Too hard.
Yeah, but it's also like a fun game. Let's say if you got together with a buddy or something, you got drunk, and you got drunk and you played it. Oh, it'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, the multiplayer aspect of a lot of those games was always awesome.
Yeah.
All right, G, you want to chat about anything else? We wrap this up.
We should probably wrap this up. I think we've been talking about an hour already.
Yeah, for about an hour. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Please be sure to like and subscribe. And please also check out all the games they'll be posting in the description, because MagFest had a ton of really great games this year. A lot of fun. And these devs are just like Gary and I, trying their hardest to bring their dreams to life. So go show some support for them. It was an awesome time, and we'll see you on the next one.
Oh yeah, Blair, it was like, comment, and subscribe.
What did I say?
You should just like and subscribe.
Oh yes, please comment too then.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
We got it this time. Bye guys.